6.
What?
Yeah, that's...
It's working.
Oh, okay.
It's got a, oh, no, it's working. Dropped your main thing. Good evening, everybody. Campus Council is now in session. We're going to begin with the roll call. Administrative
Coordinator Hill. Here. Okay, President White. President White. Vice President of Academic Affairs Gil Narova. Here. EPSAFs. Treasurer Steckel. Here. Assistant Treasurer Shake.
here.
Ace Chair Welch. Here. Ace Chair Mystic. Services Coordinator Porter.
Here.
Office Chair Georgina. Here. Diversity and Outreach Coordinator Bogus. Senator Becker. Here. Senator Washington. Senator Henderson. Senator Weber. Here. Senator Perron.
Test.
Senator Iyer. Here. Senator DeVega.
We're just going to test
This out really quick. Better? Anybody here?
Test.
All right. Just gonna keep on yelling. Senator Nelson.
Here.
Senator Logan.
Aye.
Senator Vale. Here. Senator Collinger.
Here.
Senator Frimpong.
Here.
Senator Romo.
Here.
Senator Satchel.
Here.
Senator Feldman Valentine. Senator Tiberwell. Here. Senator Rabowski.
Here.
Senator Pierce.
Here.
Delegate Folke. Delegate Redhofer.
Test.
Delegate Magdalena. Here. All right, just one more test. All right, this is still... All right. If we can't get the mics to work, some of the mics seem to be working, some don't. If your mic is not working, if you could just please make sure to speak clearly to everybody, we would all very much appreciate it. All right. I don't know what the deal is. Just none of these are working.
They're working for me.
Am I in the dead zone or something? Like, what's up with this? Very quick.
Hello.
All right. So apparently only I won't use mics. All right, we're going to keep on moving on, though, to the public comments, announcements, and any additional events. Does anybody have anything? Yes, Senator Collinger. Also, for the recording, we're recording these, and so that we're able to pick up what you say.
Okay, so there is a choir concert by Grinnell Singers this Sunday at 2 p.m. and there are there like 4 Grinnell Singers? Wow, on campus council? That's so beautiful and wholesome.
You guys should all come. It's really interesting. And
We're doing a couple
Arabic pieces,
You can't hear me? Okay, you can hear me?
but they're really interesting. And we've been working really hard on them, so you guys should
Come and
not do homework on Sunday. It's
is in Bucksbaum, the Rotunda. Yeah. Sebring Lewis, yes, at 2 p.m. So be there. Tell your constituents. And there's an ensemble coming from Philadelphia to play with us. They're like a string quartet. This is a, yeah.
But they're based in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Syria. I think most of them are from Syria.
Yeah.
One of them's the only person that plays instrument on the continent.
Yeah. You heard it first.
Oh my gosh. There are 2 concerts this weekend besides that singers concert. One is on Friday. It's Unique and Day Burger. It starts at 9 p.m. and Art House will be serving delectable tacos from 9 to 9:20. Tasty. And then on Saturday, another concert with the band Palm and the band Spirit of the Beehive. It's like jangly indie rock, kind of experimental. It's going to be really fun. They're both in Gardner. They both start at 9 p.m. So please invite your people, encourage them to try out the event and try something new, and be sure to include the taco element in your mini minutes. They can get some.
Further comments, announcements, or events? Yes.
Hi, my name's Natalie Newman. I'm on Student Alumni Council. Next Thursday, I know it's like a week in advance, the Alumni Council will be here for their only time this semester. So we're hosting events in Bob's from 8 to 9:30. It's going to be kind of like a pub, it's open mic with some pub quiz elements. It's going to be super fun. There'll be alumni and hopefully a lot of students, so like please record it in your mini minutes and like show up if you have time. There'll also be food, catering, so like snacks.
Further comments, announcements, or events? Senator, if you haven't already, please sign up for the individual senator meeting. Anything further? All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the next item, which is the approval of the minutes. Can I see a second for the approval? J.C. Hill. And we'll move into the vote immediately on the approval of the minutes from the last campus council. Make sure that you have all clicked your correct code here to make sure that you'll be able to vote. If your name is still up there in white, you still need to click in your 2-letter code. Great. All right, now if you can all please vote on the approval of the minutes. A is in favor, B opposed, and C abstained. The approval of the minutes from the previous campus council. All right, the polls are now open. These up now. A in favor, B opposed, C abstained. Approval of the minutes. All right, and with unanimous vote, the motion is passed and the minutes are approved. And yes, and we will be moving on to the budgets from the ACE committee. So would the ACE co-chairs like to speak to this? All right, there is nothing to add. Are there any questions about any of the ACE budgets? With none of them over $1,000, there is no vote necessary. All right, without seeing any questions, we'll move on to the budgets for SPC. First, we're going to talk about the 3 budgets other than the one over $1,000. Are there any questions? All right, Services Coordinator Porter.
Yeah, so we had a good committee meeting full of non-controversial budgets. Grinnell Aircraft Association came this semester, they also came last semester, for funding to purchase propellers, among other things, to improve the drone they've already created. If you're interested in their drone, you can reach out to me and I can connect you with them. Neverland Players also came to committee. They were looking for funding for their performance and their practices. We had to cut the budget because they had food on their budget, which we are now very strict about when we fund things. Sol came for the potluck. We gave them full funding. It was a very detailed budget. And that's one of their 2 allotted food events that SPC will provide funding for. And then the last one, I don't know if is there anyone here to present on GSDW? Oh, you're here. So, okay.
It's not different.
Do you want to move on to that?
Yeah, let's move on to that.
All right, so, well, first, are there any questions about the other 3 SPC budgets? All right, then we're going to move on to the next one. This is a union conference budget. And would you like to present on this?
I present on it.
You're going to present on it?
Well, it's actually not GSDW, my mistake. It's Student Labor Advocates, that's the organization. And they requested funding to go to a conference that's on how to organize effectively for labor rights. It's in Chicago. It's, from what I understand, a couple of days. They wanted money for the early bird registration, transportation, and additionally rooms, a hotel room, 2 nights. The committee granted them funding, but we asked them to look at Airbnb so that they could lower the cost. So we were actually expecting them not to be coming to Campus Council tonight, but I guess we can hear from them about that.
I'm Alec, by the way. We have been looking into alternative options, including getting rides, funding through the Wilson program, scholarships from the actual conference itself. We have been looking into alternate housing room options. They look like wouldn't be any less expensive than what we have currently.
So from what I recall during committee, a committee member actually looked up Airbnb housing that was within the same location that was $100 cheaper for 2 nights for 4 people. So that's where we sort of thought the budget could be reduced by enough so that I wouldn't have to come to Campus Council. But if that's not the case and your group cannot find that, then that's fine. We are fine with funding the hotel. So the hotel room, it is located in the same place where the conference will be held. So it's right next door to it.
So we could find slightly different housing options, but they are going to be updating with new hotel deals tomorrow, so hopefully they should be essentially very similar to what they were before.
There are 4 people going. Each person is contributing $20, but if the hotel price goes up and we say yes to this amount now, then they will just have to cover that, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. Questions?
All right, are there any other questions? All right. Seeing none, we'll just move straight into the vote. So this is a vote for the Student Labor Advocates, correct?
Yes.
All right. The Student Labor Advocates conference budget for a total of $1,090. We are going to open up the polls. The polls are now open. A is in favor, B opposed, and C abstaining for a budget of $1,090 for the Student Labor Advocates Conference. Okay, and with 14 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 abstention, the motion passed, and the Student Labor Advocates are granted $1,090 for the conference. With that, we'll be moving on to the budgets from the Services Committee.
Yeah, so we had one budget that was sent to us. or from kids' music, but they didn't come, so we tabled it. Hopefully they come next week.
Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the next item, which is a discussion topic on campus council date and time, led by Senator Williams. You can have the
Okay. Where do we start? It might be helpful if everybody has up the link that I sent you guys with the potential and conflicts that people have. So I'll let everybody try to do that. Yes, wonderful. So, I can't say I actually know where to take us from here. I don't know everybody that's participated and put their commitments up there. Maybe if people want to start just talking about like what absolutely doesn't work for them, we can start narrowing down times. Hopefully we find something. Hopefully nobody has to resign. Maybe someone will. It's tragic. Go for it.
All right, Mr. Steckel?
So I really admire the work that you put into this so far, Regina, Senator Logan. But I think that if our main goal is to find a time that works for the entire student body going, maybe not, maybe that's not the goal, please.
My goal Hello. Okay.
My goal for tonight is to find time that all voting members off of the council right now need time that it is will have to so at the basic level and we get members
voted for representatives can have the representatives like
Okay. So
as the person that like is leading this discussion topic, I don't have any design of how we're gonna get this done. I've tried to compile
I'll make sure you vote. Please make sure. With 13 in favor, 1 opposed, and 3 abstaining, the motion passes, and my mic is working. Great. So we are now going to, all right. We're now going to move on to the announcement for reforms for the semester, again from Reform Chair Logan.
Yes. Let me find my other Google Doc. Yeah, so Reform Committee met yesterday. Reform meetings will be on Tuesdays in the SGA office at 12. We went through the existing reform ideas that have been on the table, started prioritizing stuff, and that's the only announcement I have, and then we're gonna go to talking points. We can move on to the next thing. If anyone has questions generally about reform, yeah.
Well, also, the reason, can you explain a little bit the reason why we have those specific talking points for tonight?
Yeah, so the two things that we're about to talk about are constitutional reforms to the technical advisor position and the ACE coordinators positions. We think that these would be the most reasonable to do before the cabinet hiring process starts for the new execs. It's going to be hopefully a non-controversial topic, but we wanted to bring it and hear everybody's opinions, etc.
Any further questions about the general discussion before we move into the specifics? All right, so with that, we're going to move on to specifically discuss the ACE co-chair reform.
Okay, we're doing ACE first. So what we discussed is how having 2 ACE coordinators might not be the best use of our resources if the ACE position is something that can be done by one person, potentially with the support of senators that will sit on the all campus events committees. We think that other similar cabinet positions are filled by one person, and this would be a constitutional reform, and at the next reform meeting, we'll start drafting language and stuff like this. So we want to hear if anyone has things that you think we've missed in this discussion, glaring errors in our logic. I sent everybody the write-up. Let us know.
Questions, comments, discussion points? Yes, Assistant Treasurer Shea.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, do we have to vote on this, or will it just happen on its own? If
the vote will occur at a later date.
Yeah.
This is only discussion. There will be no vote.
Okay, thanks.
Senator Rob?
I have a question. So I was just wondering, when we had this written down initially, when we decided to have 2 ACE co-chairs, what was the thought process behind that? Does anyone know?
Yeah, so my understanding is that there was an assistant to the ACE coordinator position, and then that assistant became the second ACE coordinator. I think that shows that the ACE job is one that needs guaranteed support, and so when we're drafting the constitutional amendment, one of the things that we had in mind is with the concurrent work that senators are doing right now to increase senator hours and pay and responsibility. That's something that we could more regularly expect from the senators to be putting in that preparatory work for ACE committee and the execution of ACE duties.
ACE co-chair Welch.
You're going to use this mic.
Hello? Okay. I just want to say, as ACE co-chair, support this reform. I'm looking forward to getting it worked out in committee. I think specifics need to be talked about. Y'all will come. Specifically, I think there does need to be a assistant, intern, senator, assisting position, because social 1,500, roughly 1,500 students on campus is a job that would be better served with more than one person, but I don't think we need 2 people working 20 hours a week. I think our funds could be better used.
further comments or questions, points of discussion? Yes. Here.
How many senators are currently sitting on ACE co-chair, like the committee? Two. And follow-up question, do you think that's enough to help with all the duties that ACE co-chairs like handle like throughout the semester and the year? You guys understand?
I think if that were their summer project, if that were like what they were spending a lot of their time outside of just the community meetings and that was council on, then yes.
Yes, Assistant Treasurer Jake.
Just to like make it clear, like more clear about like, so what work would the senator be doing? Or like what tasks or what stuff that like what would they be doing?
So is it gonna, oh, it worked, okay. Specifically would be event reservations is a big one, probably making calendar events, outreach. I think it would probably depend on like the strengths of a given senator and co-chair, and they could probably work it out between them, but those are the ones that come to mind.
Also, I think that this could also be applied to services in SPC, and like, I think it's just a good thing to start implementing for budgetary chairs.
Further comments, questions? Okay. Seeing none further, we're going to move on to the next item. Unless, would you like to add anything finally?
Nope.
All right, then we're going to move on to the technical advisor report.
Okay, so what we discussed on Reform Committee is that the current description for the technical advisor position in the Constitution is pretty vague. It doesn't necessarily describe either like the needs or the accurate practice of what actually happens like in the tech advisor position. And the biggest problem is that there exists the potential for a conflict of interest between the tech advisor as an assistant to, for example, the election board, and if you're running for senator or are a senator. By the way, if Miles does speak on this, all I ask is that you clarify whether you're speaking as senator or tech advisor or candidate. And so we discussed needing to make the position clearer, add eligibility stuff that's similar to the other positions. So, like can't be I don't know what student staff is the word, so like be a CA. And then eligibility that would clarify this like stuff so that the tech advisor doesn't end up in a situation where they can't do the work needed by cabinet because they're in another position. That's about it. And it's all in the document too.
Any comments or questions? Yes.
Miles.
Oh, no. Okay. I have. Hello? Okay. So neither Miles, the candidate, nor Miles the senator, nor Miles the technical advisor had been approached about this. I also don't know what it is. So I don't know that I can endorse it because I just don't know what it is. But insofar as things go where me being a senator and a technical advisor, I'm now speaking as technical advisor. I just should not be able to do this. This is really silly. My life has been not fun since I did this. But I'm totally for that. I don't know what the other things are. I kind of wish I would have been in the loop. But yeah. So I don't know. I think my term in the position has made it a very different position than it was when I got it. I think it definitely needs updating. I think there are further updates. I don't know what's in this, so maybe there isn't. But I think there definitely is some updating in need. but in none of my positions can I speak to what is in this update, so I don't know.
Yeah, I do apologize for not running that by you. I should have at least sent you the draft, and before we start drafting the actual language, I will make sure that you can make the meetings that we do that at.
Services coordinator.
Yeah, I just want to say that part of the reason why we have it as a discussion topic is in order to hear from everyone, tech advisors, senators, CAB members, delegates, what they think should be in the reform, so that way we can have a more comprehensive idea of what we should put in before we actually draft it. So I think the most useful way to spend our time right now is to discuss what we should put in, and yeah, suggestions and that kind of stuff.
My current question is, are we thinking about making this effective like immediately after it passes? Because if we were to do so during this semester, then Miles would have to leave one of his positions the minute that happens.
President White?
To respond directly to Treasurer Steckel's question, that would be a decision that we would get to make. So I think that it would be better to not have it take effect immediately. And also, like, it depends. So I think more to come on that. In terms of the reform itself, I would prioritize the eligibility standards, just making it in line with every other position. So, like, must be a full-time student at Grinnell College, must have completed at least one semester, must be in Grinnell, Iowa during the term, like those kind of things. Yeah.
Up next,
Okay, I apologize if I misunderstood. I thought there was a reform.
Oh, no.
Okay, never mind. I'm just confused.
Okay.
I take that back. I apologize.
No problem.
As far as eligibility requirements, technical advisor Miles says yes. I'm sorry, you have a point. Yeah, I'm deferring to Treasurer Stecker.
I also just want to say that Miles has done a pretty good job updating with the advice of Wise and I, updating the official job description of the tech advisor role, like in our own records. And so I realized I wasn't at Reform last week. I had another appointment, but next week I'll bring that and we can use it because I think it can be a good template for what we want to be in the Constitution. It's much more defined. It has everything we want, I think.
All right, are there any further comments, questions? All right.
Nope.
All right, then.
Come to reform.
All right. So with that, we're going to move on to the next topic, which is the S&P retraction led by Senator Grinnell.
Hi everyone. Okay, so to business. So a while back there was, I don't know why this was named that way. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the problem that happened in the physics faculty where there was a professor who practiced gender bias in his class and in his labs. And I wanted to talk about how the students petitioned and they eventually got that professor fired or something. That professor had to leave. And they wrote an article about it on the SNB. It got published. I don't know what date, sorry. But it got published. It was kind of quite recent. I think it was last 2 weeks or something. And it was also published online as per usual. But the Grinnell administration asked the SNB to shut that article down so you can't access it online now. And I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about how that probably wasn't a good move and how we can, as senators and as members of this community, make it more we can be vocal about our opinions, and we should be able to do something about it, and we should be able to have our voices heard. I had a couple of conversations with the people who are directly affected by this, and the thing that they are telling me basically is that they felt that their voices were silenced. And as well, I was kind of a bystander because it didn't happen to me, but as an active bystander, I feel like there should be something that should be said about this. And since we are all leaders in this community, I thought it would be nice to raise this issue here. So, any comments? Oh, it's your job, sorry. I'll give it to you. Oh. This one also works here.
Oh, really?
I just want to thank Senator Frimpong for breaking this forward and taking the time to talk about it. SGA Cabinet met with President Kington last week, Angela Voos, and we talked about this issue. And we personally asked Kington, like, why did this happen? What's your side of it? What do you see it? And basically, like, if you don't know, like, they chose to have the S&B retract the article because they were facing a lawsuit, and it was like the wisest choice to make from his perspective in terms of like basically avoiding that like large expenditure, that large cost. It was a risky endeavor to act otherwise due to some like protocol that the S&B pursued. And now there's representatives of the S&B in the room, and I think I would invite them to talk if they wish to. However, they don't need to. Hi Lily, hi Candace. And I guess I want to say again, thanks for bringing it up. And I had some other comment, but I forgot. I guess I agree with you that I don't want to like act like this didn't happen because we faced administrative pushback.
Yeah, we also agree with we want to make sure that the women who came forward are not being silenced, and that was definitely not, to silence them was definitely not the reason that it was taken down. We actually aren't able to talk about it due to some things with the lawsuit, but we do appreciate you bringing it up and making sure that we know that the stories and testimonies of people who have things to share are really important.
I just have a question about, does anyone know what the administration is going to do besides just like with the lawsuit and everything? Or with the professor?
What are they going to do about what? Okay. All right, so what are they going to do about the professor and the lawsuit and everything is the question I'm hearing. I think all of the information that is available was in the correction.
As someone who is not being sued, I can talk about this. They're paying him until the end of 2018. That was when they were telling him that he could no longer complete teaching his classes and grade. He threatened to sue them then, and then agreed to pay him until the end of his term, and that's why he's technically still teaching at Grinnell College. He Facebook messaged one of the women that I was in class with and told her that and asked and said he received no information as to why his position, why he was under investigation. And he heard that it was from sexual harassment claims, but he does not know any details about it, and that he wanted her to explain what was going on, and that she would also know that he was still getting paid.
Is there anything that the administration is doing to help protect the students who were targeted and stopping him from contacting them through Facebook News?
So I guess essentially the answer is no. But Senator Nadolski?
This is a question for President White. You mentioned the information's on the SMB's retraction, but when I tried to go to the retraction, it says page not found. Could the SMB editor tell me, did they take down the statement of retraction? Okay.
Yes, President White, would you like to speak to this though?
I think the S&B representatives' responses are adequate.
Further questions or comments?
Wait, so the retraction was taken down? Yes. Okay.
I guess, well, you said, Lily, you said certain aspects. Also, are you a senator? I'm so sorry. Lily, are you officially like a senator? I wasn't sure if I should call you Senator Polkey or not. Okay. Delegate Polkey. So you said certain aspects you can't share due to the lawsuit. And I was wondering, is that information things that other students could potentially increase the spotlight on you by discussing? Like, I'm just wondering if I should be aware of how I talk about this information with other people, and if you can give guidance so that I or my peers don't further make this a more difficult process for the S&B or anyone in terms of talking about it even in an adjacent sort of way. Is my question clear? I'm just not sure like what information is like really bad and what is still like open to discuss. That's what I'm confused about.
Highly recommend to answer in the, if you want to give any guidance on what to do and not to say what not to say.
We just can't talk about it. Anybody else? Like the people directly involved in the lawsuit. It's something going on campus. I think we feel that anybody else can talk about it as much as they want.
I figure you guys can't answer this, but does anybody know why the retraction was retracted or taken down? Okay, if anybody wants it, I have an archived copy. I don't know if that's like not allowed, but if anyone's curious.
If anyone would like to discuss this case in particular or other ways that we are working towards preventing situations like this from happening again and to improve the ease of reporting situations like this if they are to ever occur, please feel free to reach out to me.
We are going to open up the polls in just a second. And the polls now open. In favor, be opposed, give standing. We'll take this discussion to 2 minutes. We're just waiting on one more vote. If everybody can make sure you voted. Your vote just changed. Vote changed again. Nobody left, right? All right, if we could all make sure we voted one more time, we're just missing one vote. All right, that should all counted as an abstention. At 1:30. Yeah. Yep, we're gonna register that as an abstention if it doesn't come in the next like 10 seconds. All right, so the motion to limit debate passes, 12 in favor, 2 opposed, and 3 abstaining, and I will start the timer right now. Further comments or questions? Yes. Bring in a mic to
I would urge you all, when you are talking about this, to instead of talking about like how people who are affected can report it, like where they could go, to talk about how we are preventing this from happening at an institution, at an institutional level, and like what the faculty in your departments are doing to make their classrooms inclusive and safe. Because if I reported every like gender bias incident, I would be reporting something every day, and I don't think it should be my responsibility to do that. So maybe talk to your departments, talk to the people in power who can actually make a change in their classroom to do something about this.
Okay, all right, seeing none, we will just move on to the next item, which is the counter report from the faculty.
I attended to emails today and had it on office hour. Otherwise, I didn't do anything else besides the things that are listed in my report that I wanted to share. Happy to take any questions.
Okay. Seeing none, we will be moving on to the next item, which is the cabinet report from Assistant Treasurer Jake.
Hey, something exciting I did was Zach and I interviewed a candidate for the next VP of Finance position. I did some e-time. I'm still finishing it up. And then I'm excited about like election results and like just choosing the next cabinet. It's like an exciting time for me. And then Green Fund's going great. I had office hours, meeting with Kington. Just regular stuff, yeah. Any questions?
All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the next item, which is the cabinet report from Administrative Coordinator Hill. All right, are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the cabinet report from VPSA-Fs. Can we get a mic for VPSA-Fs, please?
Last week I was not able to go to the parking committee, but I was able to on Friday go to the the last meeting for the director of dining services, and so that went well, and the person who got the job will come out soon, I think. And then I also went to Committee on Student Life, and we talked about cyberbullying and the potential of adding certain things in the student handbook or conduct of either like a whole new edition to like about cyberbullying, or adding small pieces under different things you can get in trouble to, so we didn't have to create like a whole new thing, because it would be harder to say like what is wrong and what is right. And then that That was it.
Any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the cabinet report from you. Anything on the roll?
I think I forgot to say that I held the student curriculum committee. But like other than that, I think that's it. Just related to like if you have any concerns that's happening in class. I feel like I've never experienced being like having professor being biased towards me. So it's either that like I'm oblivious or I don't know. So please, if that happens to you, like I'll be very happy if you came forward. Like you can always come talk to me. Or so SCPC should be the people that you can talk to and who should be able to help you get the institutional support that we can. Also, if you have ideas like how to improve that, please talk to me as well. We can set up a meeting with Shanna Benjamin or with Dean Latham, and I'll be so happy to help you with that.
All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the cabinet reports and the schedules. Ms. Cook, you're welcome.
It's not up there. Okay, I just have a few things to add. We met with a number of people who are hosting upcoming events, which is something we try to do a lot more of this year. We put together a host contract, Sale and I, so that it kind of doubles as a manual for hosting an event, and we've gotten good feedback on that so far. We got our coolers back from the Frank host today, which I was a little anxious about, but they're back, so we'll have them for future events. Also new, Sale and I are hosting 100 Days, which is going to be exciting. We're looking forward to putting a good one together for the fourth years. I've been looking at survey data from last year's 100 Days, which the location was changed to Pepper Tree from, I think, Elks Lodge or something like that. And we got solid feedback on it. If you're a fourth year, if you have a strong opinion about the venue, if you know fourth years, ask them to reach out to us. Also from the survey, I just want to share, there's like 80% of the respondents said that they felt safe last year at 100 Days. I think that's way too low, and we need to be working on ways to make it safer, more food, more water, making sure it's properly staffed by ACEs, more lights, and focusing on the importance of consent and outreach. And along those lines, I'm going to be adding it to the list of events that we will be surveying for with the Grinnellian, Block Party, Tithead, and Waltz. It's not like a larger budget events like the other one, but it is one we always need to keep an eye on, I think. That's all. Let me know if you have any questions, and fourth years, please talk to us.
Any questions? Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to the report from the Diversity and Outreach Coordinator. So somebody can take that, someone President White, will take the report from the Diversity and Outreach Coordinator budget. All right, up next is the cabinet report from the Services Coordinator. Are there any questions there?
Yeah, Emily told me to tell you all that she has nothing to add.
Great. Any questions? Sure. All right. Seeing none, we will move on to the cabinet report from the Concerts Chair. Back to
Hello. So first of all, we had our first concert with the new soundboard, and I don't know if any of you made it to Let's Get It On Gardner, but it sounded awesome. That room has sounded better than it's sounded ever, which is great. And I think I was just telling the cabinet at an earlier meeting, I think it really raises like the profile of Gardner as like a place to see music, which is really cool. And it also means that we're not like putting students at risk. Hearing health-wise, like I think we'll be able to control the levels of the sounds that we're not damaging people's ears, which is really good. Although we will continue to have earplugs at concerts and things like that. So I'm excited about the soundboard. I'm excited that we're using it and that it's helping us do things smoothly and more safely on that end. Besides that, there's 2 concerts this weekend, and I'm currently doing interviews for Assistant Concerts Chair. There's like 8 people who applied, which is really awesome. It's a larger number than it's ever been since I got here. Only 3 years, but it's still saying something. And my committee actually has grown a lot. I have like 14 solid attendees at my meeting like weekly, and like last year this time there were like 4 people that would go to concerts. So I'm excited, and Senator Satchel, like the, okay, is coming to our meetings, which I love, and I hope that Senator Satchel has fun and gets involved with that. Sorry if they're not fun. You can take it up with me if they're not fun. You know, open to critique. And we have 2 concerts this weekend, which I'm really excited about too. Again, one on Friday and one on Saturday. I encourage you to come. I encourage you to come hear the new soundboard and to see the bands. And you'll find out about Assistant Concerts Chair soonish. I don't have a date yet. That's all.
Questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the calendar report from President Steckel.
Hi, everyone. So this week was a little bit less SGA heavy for me as I was out of town for a couple of days. But of the things that I did do, Wise and I went to the Budget Planning Committee and continued to represent student interests. We attended a cabinet meeting and meeting with President Kington and Angela Voos, which is already discussed, as well as spending lots and lots and lots of money, going to stores with people, buying things online, using that credit card. It's the life. I have a lot of goals that I will be getting to next week.
Any questions? All right, then next we are going to move rather quickly through the senator report. So I'm going to ask you if you have anything to add. So Senator Kwani's not here, but Senator Becker? Nothing to add. Nothing to add. Senator Perron? Nothing to add. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Any questions for Senator Becker? Yes.
Do you have any updates on any projects?
Yeah.
Speaking as Senator Becker, my senator project is to kick myself out of my job. I want to make it so that I can't do this. So that's my senator project, is for that reform. So, and we're going to be talking about it soon. So it's all good.
Any questions? Okay, then are there any questions for Senator Perron? Okay, seeing none, we are going to move on to Senator Weber. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. At this time, I think I would like to give some updates on the STI-Fund initiative's progress. Let me pull that up quick. Okay. So the Bucksbaum practice rooms occupied signs. So the total cost is going to be about $73. Still need to get responses back on the installation process. And then apparently for the art, we'll be asking people on the Grinnell Creatus page on Facebook to submit proposals for the signs. Hand dryers and dorms, we're just kind of waiting to hear back on that, so that's in progress. Mint tea is now in the D Hall, so that's cool. Have fun with that, friends. And we're working on decaffeinated tea in the library. Yeah, toasters and kettles we're waiting on. Yeah, okay. Water filters, also waiting on price estimates. The shrieking chairs and the grill, we've put in a work order, waiting on that. In the meantime, we're going to put paper towels or cloth wipes underneath the chairs unless anyone has any better ideas for temporary fixes. Yeah, okay.
And I'll just give the rest of the report. So we were talking about the therapy dogs for finals, and we're going to talk to Barry Driscoll, the professor, because he is known to have puppy experience, and just so we'll be talking with him. We'll also be talking with Autumn Wilkie to discuss like previous attempts about the therapy dog programs. The Happy Lamps, which was one of Miles' initiatives, Oh, yes. Thank you, Khadijah. So we still need a little bit more information on it, but we're going to be talking with, we've been reaching out with Shax and Res Life to get their opinion on it. Divesting, our president, Summer White, has finished a report of divesting, and also Grinnell has actually joined a national organization which is to help make sure that we're divesting. So we are investing in non-fossil fuels, and so this organization will actually help Grinnell in that sense. Also, D-Hall protein powders, which is currently being negotiated, and also figuring out what type of brands and flavors. So, yeah.
Based on that next week.
Awesome, fantastic. And then murals around campus. Artists will probably get paid, we've decided $9, and the areas that they have all been approved, which are Lyle's Pub, like the hallway, the East Campus basement, and outside Bucks Bum practice rooms. And then laundry timers is also another initiative from Miles, and this idea just comes from Iowa State University. And currently the cost of it is around $20,000 for implementation with a setup, and the annual maintenance fee is around $1,000. So since the STI-Fund results, it is shown that students are really willing to pay for this, or that are for it. So it's possible that this could speed up the process, is what I'm saying. And then also Flat Screens for East is just another initiative that is currently in progress. It's just that the student initiative is trying to move it forward. And then what else do we want to about? Oh, the yellow jacket removal, complete. Mini wheats, complete. See them in the dining hall. Movable whiteboards, we still are working on the pricing, but it won't take too long. And then student voting members on the board of trustees, there has been a report submitted. And off-campus washing machines, we're still figuring out the logistical aspects of that. And the geodes, what is this? The dome student mural, we're still figuring out the model and location. And then just a reminder to everyone, sorry, this is really going on long, but anyone can come to these meetings. Our next meeting, write this down, is Tuesday, March 6th at 7 p.m. in the SGA office. So comes... Yeah, 7:30. Oh, sorry, did I say 7? Okay, 7:30 at the SGA office. That's all.
Yes.
I just want a point of information. The only thing that we're really waiting on for the washing machines off campus is for the SGA, for it to become apparent how much money we're going to have left in the SGA budget to pay for it. The logistics are basically figured out. FM has said that they would install them. We just have to buy them. They just cost a lot of money. But otherwise, yeah.
Questions? Yes. Houses. All right.
A number of houses.
What about Senator I? Anything to add? Any questions? What Senator Iyer just said was that some people had approached her about the executive elections, and that was good to see that engagement. Any other questions? Yes.
Could you share anything about project progress this semester or goals for
Oh, okay. So I'm still deciding about exactly what I want my senator project to be. I was thinking of looking into stuff to do with storage spaces on campus, but still, yeah, most likely will be that because I'm interested in that. But yes, nothing else to add.
Any further questions? All right, then Senator De Vega. You have anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Any questions for Senator De Vega?
Do you want to elaborate on the Senator project idea?
Yeah. So when I wrote up my proposal for what I want to do as senator, I said that I want to start the process or maybe look into the process for getting a bike lane, and at least in some parts on campus. I know some of them would be logistically difficult, but if you go to any other university or college that's comparable to Grinnell, they all have bike lanes, and well, okay, not all of them, a lot of them do, and I think it's like a student safety problem, and I know it will take talking to, what do you call that, city planning, or I don't know, there's somebody that deals with who does what with what public land. So yeah, I'd have to talk to them, but I think that it would be a great project and it would help. First of all, people would have more bikes. They would be riding bikes more often, which would be good. I don't know, driving less, bike co-op. Yeah, it would just be great for student safety, so that's what I want to look into doing.
Further questions? All right, then Senator Nelson. You have anything to add?
I have nothing to add in terms of general notes. In terms of the Senator project, I'm currently in the reevaluation phase. My initial idea turned out to be less than feasible, so I'm rethinking.
Any questions? Yes,
Could you talk about what Green Fund is up to, like your committee?
Okay, Green Fund, however, Wise and I, as well as another person who is not here, well, I mean, you're in that too, are working on getting light timers on on the lights in the bathrooms and potentially hallways, so you would just kind of turn the dial and it would stay on for 5 or 10 minutes or however long you put it for, and then it would turn off automatically. And since that meeting, I live in Reed, I've turned the lights off in both of the bathrooms, like I think it was upwards of 20 times. So I feel like that would be very useful. We're also working on getting a pilot project to put bidets in some selected bathrooms to take data on toilet paper usage. And we're also working on some sort of strategy to get an energy monitoring system so that we can track the usage of energy in dorms. What? And the bike co-op. Yes, the bike co-op is going strong. We just are looking for final confirmation on a space to put the bikes, but we have big plans.
Any questions? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to Senator Bale. We're going to microphone to Senator Bale. Do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add to the report proper, but for Senator Project, my current idea is that there's the current project in town to renovate the Veterans Memorial, and one of that component is to have, I believe, like live-in artists and to encourage like veteran sort of stuff along those lines, and I think that's a great opportunity to get sort of the campus involved with that. Our art students sort of connecting with veterans and stuff along that line. However, that's sort of very sort of long-term, so don't know how that will pan out, but I'm willing to change or adapt or what have you. But otherwise, that's it.
Any questions? Yes, Can we get the mic?
I'm curious how your event went last week in East Campus. Like, how was the turnout? What did constituents bring up as feedback?
So we had our hall council. There was a very small turnout. There was about like 6 or so people. We were in rows. Some left concerns, but I didn't actually have they wrote down on note cards. Regina has those, and I didn't actually have time to.
Yeah, at our hall council, what we did is we left note cards out for people to write any hopes, dreams, aspirations for the semester. We actually got some few but very important / interesting / concerning things brought to us. So I think that having anonymous ways for your constituents to let you know what's on their hearts is a really good idea.
Questions for Senator Vale? All right, then we'll move on to Senator Logan. Do you have anything to add? Any questions for Senator Logan? All right, then we'll move on to Senator Coleman. Do you have anything to add?
I just wanted to clarify, it says that I was at the concerts chair meeting, but I was not at that. No, I was, sorry, Luke. I was at the Sty Fund initiative meeting, plug-in, you should all come. It's wonderful. But to talk about my senator project, I've sort of been going off and on of what I should do, but it's sort of come to my attention that there are definitely a lot of problems with retention at the dining hall, and I think it would be a good idea to have a survey for student dining hall workers to voice their concerns, as Regina was talking about, in an anonymous way, because I feel like no one's going to say, oh, these, what are they called? Not student leaders, but the administrators of the dining hall are often very mansplainy, and that is a problem. So that's what I'd like to do, and then maybe possibly keep the dining hall service committee up and alive. Yeah. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Any questions? All right, then up next is Senator Logan.
Yeah, so we're actually holding our first hall council on Friday, so hopefully we'll have a good turnout for that. As for my senator project, I want to do an event around consent. So I'm thinking about doing some sort of open mic, or somewhere where students can share art. It doesn't necessarily have to be related to sexual assault, but just kind of a nice way to bring awareness to the subject. So I'm hoping to meet with Jen Jacobson very soon. Yeah.
Questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to Senator Sessions.
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Any questions? President White?
So I'm not 100% sure on what project I want to go with, because the one I started with originally is not very easy to complete. So yeah, I'm still trying to decide a new one.
All right, Senator Coleman.
I'm going to the mini minutes today for my cluster, and I and Senator Erica, please let me call her Erica, and Cynthia, we are working on the hall council together. My senator project was on wellness, which ties in beautifully with Cynthia's consent idea. So mine is on wellness and helping the first years get enough resources, and also connecting them to the other upperclassmen in Coles and Debo, basically. So yeah, wellness is my thing.
Senator project. I've talked to Services Coordinator Porter, and I plan on continuing my senator project from last semester. It's reviewing old SBC budgets to see where the money went.
Any questions? All
I think we have a question.
Oh, yeah, there is? Yes.
Yeah, last semester we made a spreadsheet with tabulated results for where all money went. If anyone's curious about where our money went last spring, I would be more than happy to share it with you. Yeah, so the initial goal will be to do last semester, since that's the most recent, and so that's the data that's most relevant to the current SGA. If I finish that, I'll continue to move back and further. With all respect, that's well outside the scope of a single senator project.
Questions? All right. And Senator Pierce?
Nothing to add with regard to my project. I am looking into trying to establish some kind of women's center on campus. I know there have been some problems with this before, some inclusivity issues that I am hoping to address, and I'm hoping to try and find some kind of space in the construction and some of the new buildings that are coming up. But at a minimum for this semester, I would definitely like to just kind of establish more resources with regard to women and gender-related concerns. And so, yeah, it's still very early in the planning process, but I have sent an email, and hopefully I will have more details on that later.
Any questions? All right, and Senator Feldberg is not here. Those questions can be sent to his email unless anybody would like to speak for him now. All right, and then Senator Kibble.
I've still been brainstorming ideas for my Senate project. Otherwise, Evan and I have been deciding a date for a Hall Council. We were thinking hopefully mid-March would be good. We've also been updating our constituents on our mini minutes. Apart from that, I've been on the election committee meetings, and we're really excited for tomorrow's panel, so be there. And if you have any questions, happy to take them.
Questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the report from the technical advisor.
Yep, just updated the tech JD, the job description. That took a lot of time. And then just like general maintenance, getting sender emails set up and whatnot.
Great, any questions? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to our last item, which is the motion to adjourn. Do I see a second from President? Oh, yeah? No, you have a question?
Comments?
Yeah.
That there are several mentions of a want for giving feedback that's anonymous, so I just wanted to let you all know that SJ has a suggestion box in the office. It's on the counter right when you walk in. There are no cards and pens. There should be a pen there, so feel free to use that or point people to that resource. There's also an online version of the form